podcast number 2 with Gibson.
Hello.
Right, today we're going to be talking about Brambles, my lovely sheep, and how I got her. We'll also be talking about TV series, specifically The Witcher, and just how it's
Just The Witcher in general.
Witcher in general. And then we'll be talking about lockdown, the joys of lockdown, and how me and Gibson are coping. And what we're doing to keep ourselves active and stuff. Anyway, right, so story time with Josh.
Here we go.
This is how I got my lovely orange tan-like sheep, Suffolk sheep, Brambles. So years ago, actually not years ago, it was like 2 years ago, I got three. My dad asked for ducks, and he asked for 3 ducks, and they're pretty easy to get. Just went to our local, well, not local, but we went to a local-ish farm and got some ducks. They cost about a fiver each, and they were great. The breed of duck, I cannot remember. That's just how much I care about the ducks, but yeah. But all I know is, a duck's a duck, pretty much. A duck's a duck, and something special with this duck is that it can't fly. It's part of it's due to the fact that it's too fat that it can't fly, and also it just can't be arsed, really. We give it food, we give it land, so it's happy. Can't be arsed flying everywhere, all over the globe to get food, really.
So it's a pretty lazy duck.
Pretty lazy duck. One of them's called, well, I call it Gibson, because it wanders on its own, it does its own thing, and doesn't really care about, well, it does care about the rest, but just kind of just does its own thing, and yeah.
It's aloof, like myself.
Yeah, chooses his own path and gets lost, and yeah, very, very high maintenance to deal with as for a duck. Yeah, and once we got the ducks, my dad then decided I'll go one better. And Gibson, what would you say one better is than a duck?
Than a duck?
Yeah, what's bigger than a duck?
If it has to be bigger than a duck, but it has to be a farm animal.
Well, any animal, like.
Well, dog is always better.
Yeah, a dog.
Because your ducks, you're not farming them; they're a pet for you.
Yeah. They're a little bit more high maintenance, but they're So, but no, we got ourselves some sheep instead because he just thought, let's be different. and he specifically wanted 3. Well, he specifically wanted 3 different breeds of sheep. And we went through all the breeds of sheep, and he says, I want that one, and that one. Like a kid in a candy store. And I looked at them and I went, and they're the weirdest sheep. Like, I hadn't ever in my whole life of living in the middle of nowhere have I ever seen some of these sheep before. I've never even heard of these sheep before. But he managed to pick out the weirdest ones. One of them being a Valais sheep, which is pretty much a mix between a standard white fluffy sheep and a big Scottish Highland cow.
Highland cow.
Cool. And also another one which looked like, at the time when I saw it, I thought it's just an Essex sheep. I mean, it's pretty much just it's got an orange fake tan all over it, and it's black. Well, black. Anyway, so and that's the suffix. And then he thought to himself, going, I'll be a bit I'll be a bit normal. I'll just get a standard white sheep, which was fine. Lovely, lovely white sheep. Anyway, so when it came to sorting out and purchase of the sheep, which I thought was going to be a dawdle because the ducks were easy, so this was going to be easy. So I just turned around and went, you know what? Okay, Google Valais sheep, which was the first one because he liked it the most. And they said, "Oh, they're not stocked. People in central Scotland don't really sell Valais sheep. You have to go further afield, either down in England or some parts of Inverness." So I went, you know what? I'll just go up in Inverness, and that's a lot easier than having to go down in England. So I looked at what they had, and there was a sheep, and obviously I didn't want to go all the way up to Inverness because I had college, and I mean, who wants to go all the way up to Inverness to just see a sheep? So I just looked them online, and then there were ones that looked all right. However, and it said contact the sheep owner for more details, and I was fine. So I contacted them and I gave them a call and just said, "Great, seen the pictures, look lovely. How much are you asking for them? How much do you think?" And you've seen a picture of them, Gibson. How much do you think that sheep would have cost?
About 100 to 150.
150.
Because
Yeah,
it's.
yeah, because it's a special sheep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I did was I looked online, and actually, you know what? It cost £300 for this one sheep, and as you know, it cost £600 for the sheep. I remember, oh, it was a different one. Right, okay, £600 for this one sheep, and obviously, me on my own couldn't pay for it, and neither can my sisters. We can't all pay for this one £600 sheep, especially since it's all the way up in Inverness. So what we ended up doing was I ended up calling them and saying, right, okay, so so I then looked at other ones, and because that one looked alright, so I then looked a bit cheaper, and there was a weird looking Valais sheep which had bigger horns and was yeah, weirder the better because he was looking for a weird sheep, and he'd be fine for that. So I got the sheep, it was fine, and they were asking for about 250 for this one, and I went, okay, that's fine. And then
And
and and then I called a guy. I called the guy going, can you deliver it? The guy says, oh no, sorry, we don't deliver to Central Scotland. You'll have to pick it up yourself.
what bit in Scotland doesn't deliver to central Scotland?
Maybe they mostly, I don't know, they probably just operate in sort of northern Scotland region to farmers in that area, in Cairngorms area. I don't know. The guy kind of didn't want to drop it down to me, and I went, you know what, okay, a bit annoying, but
The idea is just absurd to me.
yeah, the idea of getting a ship and going along, it's mad, but he desperately wanted it. He was So I kind of thought, you know what, it'll be worth it, because maybe I'll get something in return next time it's my birthday or something like that. Maybe I get a dog. So anyway, so I then say to a nearby farmer who sold me the ducks, and we're friends with them, and what they ended up doing, saying, "Oh, no bother, I'll check my schedule and I'll go up and see see what I can do, if I can go all the way up to Inverness. And I went, perfect. 2 weeks later, I get a call saying, oops, Josh, not able to do it. So I ended up hiring someone else who like sort of moved, like you hire like a guy with a trailer and he delivered them and he cost £50. So that's £300 already, and I'm going, right, okay, this
This is
I
absurd.
don't know. Yeah, this is absurd. This is going to cost more, and I've only got one sheep. I've not got like the other two. Um, and I was hoping to get them in pairs, but didn't realize they would be so expensive. So eventually, I said, right, okay. I said to the guy, the friend of mine who was going to go up, can you store the sheep? He says, yeah, there's no bother. So he stores the sheep, and that's fine. And then says, right, okay. So, however, it was looking poorly, and I wanted to, it wasn't looking great. But so what I decided to do was I looked online and stuff, and the guy suggested to come on and do a or go to an auction and see if I can get a Suffolk sheep. Now, for someone who's never been to an auction and has only watched like being bored in lockdown, I maybe once watched Antiques Roadshow because I was that bored. But I thought I thought it would be similar to that and just a bunch of people shouting and asking numbers. But anyway, so I get there and I'm standing there looking at all these sheep and going, these are weird sheep. Maybe not as weird as the Highland cow sheep, but they're weird sheep.
Mm.
Yeah. Um, and there was ones that were all done up, all fancy like they were going on to, I don't know, they were just going up for auction and they were all looking all pretty, and someone had put more dye in their fur to make them even more orange. And I mean, I just went, okay, this is this is a bit too far. Okay, so and then there was other ones which obviously they were just like, it's a sheep, and then they just kind of left it just to get sold and didn't do anything nice to it. So which I kind of thought was okay. So I went to the auction. I went and they were auctioning off, going fine, right,
Yeah, as they
and
do in these
animal things and
auctions.
yeah, and yeah. They do. They didn't like crush them all into like tiny little cages and force them round. It was they had space and stuff. It was great. It wasn't like a, you know what I mean? Like yes, they had space and stuff, so it was okay. And and there was different breeds of sheep on sale. So and Suffolk's was last, and it took them ages. And I saw a Talix, a Texel. I saw a normal white sheep. I saw black sheep. I saw all these different types of sheep, and then all it came to my last came to the Suffolk one, and I had picked two that I really liked, and I went, you know what, it'll be fine. And these sheep were going for some sheep were going for about £20. Some were going for about 1.5 grand, and I was literally standing there going, this is weird. Okay, who's spending 1.5 grand on one sheep, and for the same breed of sheep, another guy is paying £20. This is weird. Okay, right. I didn't realize price ranges went that far for just a sheep. Anyway,
They go pretty damn far.
yeah, they go. Yeah, and I was told that was due to because I went into Stirling to the auction site in Stirling, and that I was told that that's pretty good because like you can go to more fancier auction sites like down in England where they can go for as much as 5k. Going okay, right? I'm note to self: not don't go down to England for sheep. Very flippin' scary.
Very much.
Um, yeah, and occasionally through the auction, I just decided to muck about and go, I'll auction this. I'll put my hand up, and it's really addicting. I mean, I know it's sheep and everything, but like putting your hand up and going up and raising. And even though I didn't get any of the sheep. I just was just put my hand up for cheap stuff, which looked good, and I never got any. But then it came to the suffix ones. Oh, they were my one walked in, and it walked in with a limp. And see the moment it walked with that little walk, and you've seen the walk, Gibson, you know what it's like. I just thought to myself, jackpot. Sheep is going to be worth £5 minimum, and I'm going to be sorted. The sheep is.
It should be noted this sheep walks with.
Yeah.
Its walk is adorable because it's so large. It struggles to walk.
Yeah, and it was pregnant with two, so it just made the walk even harder because it just going. It was just walking such weird. And so anyway, so I get the sheep. The sheep comes and da 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 da, and no one's auctioning, no one's saying anything, and the guy deliberately, because the guy who's auctioning it off, the person who owns the sheep, sets a bar for where the bid must start, and he started the bid at 200, and I went, oh for fuck, right, and I'm sitting there going, well, I have to bid for this because if that other one dies, I'm out of a sheep, and I don't have a sheep. I've just wasted £200 and umpteen amounts on sheep, and I haven't got any. So I decided to bid. I bid once, and I was sitting there making sure no one bids, no. And I looked at this old grandma who was just going to bid, and I was just sitting there going, "If you dare bid," and I gave her the evil eyes, going, "Don't you dare! This is my sheep. I will fight you for this." And then all of a sudden, I went, and then I went out, sold, and it was sold, and I bought it for 290, and they've got their own farm currency. So the guy said 300, and I can't remember what the name of it was, but I just remembered 300. It cost 300, and then I think there was like farm tax or something like that. So it then cost £215, which I kind of thought could have just said 300 and then that'd be that. But anyway, so I got the sheep, and I was sitting there going, great. And then on the way back, because because I went with a friend to the guy who I went with the friend with to the auction, said on the way back with the sheep, turned around and said, right, you might as well just sell that one, and then that'll be sell the one that you got, and then you could just stick with that one. Maybe look for a white one if there's one going for about a fiver, but you've just spent £315 on this one sheep, so I wouldn't be going looking that much, you know?
Yeah.
So I then managed to sell the Valais sheep to the guy who was taking care of it, and he was willing to pay for the same amount that I was got worth. So 250, was it? Yeah, 250. And then sold for that, made it even. So all I paid was £315, which I then which I then paid with my two sisters, and then that was that. I then looked for a white sheep, and those white sheep that you see just in the farm, like, you know how there's like hundreds and hundreds of sheep?
Yeah, the traditional.
Yeah. They're not cheap.
How? Well, I suppose that kind of makes sense because they are the most popular for a reason.
Yeah. They cost, well, I mean, they're cheaper than the odd ones that I always, but they're not. They cost about 120. And I just went, no, they probably just breed them all. And I sat there going, you know what? I've got a Suffolk sheep. It's pregnant with two, and that'll be me. Sorted. And I was happy as Larry, and then skip over to Christmas, New Year's time, um, New Year's time, early January, and I was then waiting for my sheep was giving birth with all two of its babies. I was like a father. I was over the moon. I was at college at the time, thinking, going, "This is fine. This is great." I was warned that there was a high chance, there's a probability that they weren't going to make it, but I was being ignorant and just ignored that and thought, "I'm a father of two."
Father.
Yeah,
Sheep daddy.
sheep daddy. Yeah, forget Tiger King and the sheep.
Let's not make that last.
Anyway, so I then get the sheep. So and the sheep's giving birth, and all of a sudden I got a message on the phone going, right, well, the first one's not made it. I'm going, oh, 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 okay, and then that hit me. I went, that didn't go as well as I hoped, but. And I said, but the other one's fine. The other one looks fine. So and the mother seems fine. I went, right. As long as Brambles is okay, Brambles the big sheep, that's me happy. And I was yet to come up with a name for the little one. Couldn't use Gibble, so
So
maybe
take a duck.
yeah, yeah. So I then waited, and a couple of weeks passed, and I got a call saying it wasn't looking good, and I went, "Oh, not the other one." I went, "Yeah, well, we're gonna have to put it out of its misery." I went, "That's fine. Put that. Well, it's not fine. I mean, it was shit. Yeah." So I lost that sheep. I lost both lambs. But at least Brambles was okay. She had been given medication and stuff. And she, due to the fact that she needed to take care of, because she had milk and stuff in her, so she needed to take care of another lamb. So the guy who was taking care of the sheep at the time, he had a lamb, and they were taking care of one another, and that was fine. So 1 out of 3 isn't bad. Okay, at least I've got one.
Yeah. They did warn you that
Yeah,
that
yeah, I was warned. So
that it would be a high possibility.
I then wait a couple of months just before lock, and this is where I get pissed off, because just before it goes to lockdown, bang, the lamb that was taken care of had passed away, and the lamb was due to come over to my dad's farm, my dad's land, and he was amazed. It was because he was happy with the lamb. He hadn't seen it, and he was just buzzing to. He was aware that he was going to get a sheep. He's seen pictures of it, and it was just buzzing for it. Here comes lockdown, and the guy refused, and the guy was unable to move the sheep because it wasn't. He was too busy doing work and supplies for his farm, and so I was unable to move it. So I was sitting there going, okay, so all through lockdown, I've got no sheep. I went, yeah, so that's not great, but at least he's healthy.
Yeah. At least you got one. Well, so yeah.
So, and then he's now told me that he wants. So I've got to that. He's going to get. I've refused. I've refused because it was such a mind-altering, annoying pain to organize it all and to move it all about and to move the sheep and stuff. I just literally, it's a pain in the arse, and the cost of everything, and I would not want to do it again, especially with money. So I just went, you know what? my dad, he can get the Highland cow one and be all sorted,
You
and
can deal with the other animals.
yeah, he can deal with that. And then he says to me, going, "Can you get me a cow?" I'm going, "No, I'm not getting you a cow. No, no. You can get yourself a cow. You can get yourself a Highland cow. You can get yourself a zoo. Just.
Pick up the
I'll keep brown. I've got Brambles. Brambles is technically yours, but it's cost me a lot of
to be
time and energy and money.
to be fair, it's been you who's been taking care of it, though, hasn't it?
Yeah, I've visited it a lot and just checked up on it, and yeah, because obviously the guy who's friends doesn't want to just look after someone else's sheep. So yeah. So anyway, I've got the land all sorted for when she does come, so that's fine. Yeah. Right. On to the next stage of the podcast.
Spinman.
Fuck off.